News 2.
On World News Tonight this Sunday, Steve Fawcett's dreams of circling the world now in serious jeopardy. Adventure turns to tragedy in the Rocky Mountains. And America rediscovers an old love. But this isn't your father's VW bug.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight, Sunday. From atop ABC News World Headquarters in New York, here's Carol Simpson.
Good evening. He has tried and failed 3 times already. Tonight, things are not looking good for Steve Fawcett's 4th attempt to circle the Earth in a balloon. Fawcett is now over the Black Sea, but the winds are not cooperating, and neither is his equipment. ABC's Sheila McVicker has the latest.
Not visible today, hidden in the fog, only Steve Fawcett's voice was audible as he talked to air traffic controllers in Romania this morning. Problems were apparent.
It's been very slow flying. I've only been flying 30 knots.
30 knots and now down to 25 miles per hour, far slower than what his mission controllers had hoped for.
The winds in the vicinity of the Black Sea where Steve is flying were about the slowest on the globe.
Steve Fawcett has other problems too. His heater is malfunctioning, and after 2 days over the North Atlantic and wintry Eastern Europe, he is cold. Yesterday, he told fellow balloonist Richard Branson of his difficulties.
Oh, I feel good. A little bit cold, and I'd like to get a little more sleep, but generally pretty good.
By tonight, the combination of his lack of speed and his malfunctioning heater had his ground control staff making contingency plans to end his flight.
Well, we're gonna aim to land between the Black and Caspian Sea, north of Georgia.
Steve Fawcett and his balloon Solo Spirit are tonight over the Black Sea, drifting slowly towards the coast of the Caucasus. His team plans, if necessary, to bring him down after daylight tomorrow near the Chechen capital of Grozny. Unable to reach the favorable currents of the jet stream to the south, cursed by malfunctioning heaters and other systems, this second attempt may founder the way his flight last year did, short of his goal to be the first balloonist to fly around the world non-stop. Sheila McVicker, ABC News, London.
This was the deadliest weekend in memory in the Rocky Mountains. A series of avalanches struck on both sides of the Canadian-U.S. border. In Montana, 2 people died in separate incidents. In Canada, 8 are dead. Sylvia Chase has the story.
In British Columbia, a snowmobiler was killed at Elliott Lake, and 5 skiers were killed at Kokanee Glacier. A 6th is still missing. With zero visibility all day, there was no way searchers could fly in, and it wasn't just the weather.
The continuing hazard was major. It's still high hazard, and it's a very large Class 3 avalanche.
January is the start of peak avalanche season. A year ago in the French Alps, an amateur photographer seemed little more than startled as this avalanche began. But momentum can reach as much as 120 miles per hour. And within a matter of seconds, this Italian cameraman was making a second-by-second decision to hold the camera or run away. It's much the same in this summertime glacier avalanche, with relaxed tourists expressing surprise as it begins. Seconds later, they are swept away. Miraculously, all survived. Avalanche expert Scott Tepfer explains what is causing the current rash of avalanches.
So you're dealing with more of a natural snowpack that doesn't change. It just continues to remain weak throughout the winter, and it only gets more dangerous as the winter continues on.
Canadian authorities now say more avalanches are likely and warn that travel in the area is not recommended. Sylvia Chase, ABC News, New York.
And there's some weather news overseas. Gale force winds are tearing across Europe this weekend. In Britain, 100-mile-an-hour gusts have uprooted trees and torn down power lines. More than 100,000 homes are without power. Off the coast, 10 fishermen were rescued from their crippled ship today. And across the channel in France, where waves are reaching 30 feet high, cars and pedestrians have been barred from the coast. Still ahead on World News Tonight Sunday, the growing effort to make sure Social Security is in your future when the government says the only justice is death. And a key player in the Israeli government quits playing.
This is World News Tonight, Sunday. Brought to you by the American Plastics Council.
Ah, the good old days of supermarket shopping. When nothing stood between you and your next meal. Nothing. But today, there are materials that help lock out harmful contaminants and reduce spoilage, keeping us safe and the food we eat fresh. Plastics make it possible. So now, the rest is history.
I'm going to take the stairs up to my office every day.
I'm giving up desserts during the week.
50 sit-ups every morning before my shower.
This new year, why not make a resolution that's easy to keep? Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. High fiber, low in fat, and a crispy taste that's easy to stick with.
Me? I'm going to walk a mile every day.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes. An easy start to a healthier new year.
Ready to do something about your hearing loss? My Beltone Invisa, the hidden hearing aid, has something new. The Comfort Circuit.
Here's how it works. Our Comfort Circuit automatically adjusts to help keep loud sounds comfortable and to make soft sounds easier to hear.
I hear great, and it's still as small around as my contact lens.
Now, the Comfort Circuit in the Beltone Invisa is digitally programmable. It's like a tiny computer in your ear.
Visit Beltone today and save $100 on Invisa.
The White House said today that it's looking for ways to repair the troubled Social Security program, and it wants to get the ball rolling before the next election. Here's ABC's Carla Davis.
With a 6-day vacation barely behind him, President Clinton is already defining his 1998 agenda. One item topping the list, a long-promised bipartisan attempt at fixing Social Security.
There's no more important item on his list of things to accomplish before his term is out than making serious steps to preserving the Social Security system.
One step under consideration at the White House is raising the eligibility age from 65 to 67 for Social Security retirement benefits. The president is also considering calling a special session of Congress to deal with this unwieldy issue.
It is very difficult to get incumbent politicians now to spend any political capital on this highly volatile and difficult to deal with problem.
Current projections show that the Social Security Trust will run out of money in 30 years. In 1997, 37 million people received retirement benefits. That number is sure to swell as aging baby boomers retire. The Republican leadership has a plan of its own for revamping Social Security. Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich is expected to reveal that plan in a speech tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia. The president's first full day back at work in the White House. Carla Davis, ABC News, St. Thomas.
It looks like former vice presidential candidate Geraldine Ferraro is getting back into the race for the U.S. Senate. Ferraro met with her top advisors at her home in Queens, New York today. Democratic sources expect her to announce tomorrow that she is challenging New York Republican Alphonse D'Amato for his Senate seat. Senator Strom Thurmond left the hospital today. The 95-year-old South Carolina Republican has been hospitalized with a mild respiratory infection. Thurmond, the nation's longest-serving senator, plans to go back to work in 3 weeks when Congress reconvenes. The Unabomber trial opens tomorrow in California. Theodore Kaczynski is being tried on 4 of the 15 bombings. But there's another battle going on outside the court. ABC's Terry Moran is in Sacramento.
When federal agents raided Ted Kaczynski's Montana shack in April 1996, the evidence they found was devastating and has been all but conceded by the defense. So Kaczynski's trial now turns on the stark question of whether he should live or die. And in the battle over Kaczynski's life, the key witness could well be his brother David, the man who first tipped off investigators that his reclusive big brother could be the serial killer.
Here's a guy who turned in his own brother, I think trusting the government to treat his brother with some small bit of compassion.
But Attorney General Janet Reno recently rejected Ted Kaczynski's offer to plead guilty to all charges in exchange for his life. Reno's decision is now the focus of bitter recriminations from the Kaczynski family. The family's lawyer, Anthony Bisegli, says they were given assurances that based on his mental state, the government would not seek to execute Ted Kaczynski.
When we first approached the government with David's suspicions, we made it absolutely clear that the individual that we were dealing with had been suffering from a long-standing mental illness and was unable to recognize that he was suffering from that mental illness.
But Reno and her hand-picked team of prosecutors contend the Unabomber's crimes were uniquely evil and warrant the death penalty.
To the death penalty supporters, this is clear evidence of deliberate, willful, intentional malice.
So the battle lines in this case are sharply drawn. The government will seek to portray Ted Kaczynski as a cowardly, cold-blooded terrorist who deserves to die for his crimes, while the defense will try to show the jury that this defendant is too damaged, too mentally ill to be executed. But there is a wild card in this case. Kaczynski himself has made clear in his writings and in court that he does not want to be called insane, and that could cost him his life. Terry Moran, ABC News, Sacramento, California.
Thousands of residents in northern Kentucky and southern Ohio had to be evacuated from their homes today. Officials were concerned about dangerous fumes from a fire that broke out overnight at a fertilizer plant in Maysville, Kentucky. Chemicals were stored there. Coming up, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tries to keep the peace following a major defection.
What do I want? I want to know I'm headed in the right direction. I want to keep my options open. I do want to take care of my family. I want to give something back. I want to learn, find what's right for me, be ready for anything, make the right choices. I want to find the people who can get me there.
American Express Financial Advisors can help you decide what you want to do and how to get there.
I want to say I made a difference. I want to do more.
Is there a store between here and the Canadian border we haven't been to?
Come on, a couple more stops.
Honey, I'm beat. I'm starving.
Here.
Ensure bars?
Complete balanced nutrition. To go.
Introducing Ensure Bars, a source of complete balanced nutrition, packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals to help you stay healthy and energetic.
Delicious. What's next?
The Canadian border.
I'm ready.
New Ensure Bars, from the #1 doctor-recommended liquid nutritional supplement to your health.
I just turned 50. Had the mandatory surprise party and people saying things like, "Hey, Bob, the big 5-0, half a century." Then I got this letter. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't a joke. It was from AARP. I'm eligible at 50 for discounts, for advice and information on things like volunteer opportunities, investments, travel. It's only $8 a year. So I called. The big 5-0. Happy birthday to me.
It's acid. It burns. It travels up.
Like a fire in my chest.
A terrible taste. In my throat.
If heartburn has you by the throat, you may have the toughest heartburn. Acid reflux. For this, doctors recommend Gaviscon. Only regular Gaviscon forms a soothing, protective barrier to help keep stomach acid down, where it belongs. Mylanta can't. Pepsidase C can't. Only Gaviscon can.
Better.
Relief.
Sleep.
When heartburn has you by the throat, get Gaviscon.
A shakeup in Israel today that could threaten the already fragile Mideast peace process. Israel's foreign minister kept his word and handed in his resignation. That changes the delicate balance of power in Israel's government. And as ABC's Clay Scott reports, that changes everything.
David Levy has threatened to resign before. Tonight, he made good on that threat. I'm through with this partnership, he said. I've had it. Levy accused the government of ignoring the needs of Israel's poor and unemployed. His resignation could change the political balance here.
I see the Levy resignation as the countdown, the beginning of the end of the Netanyahu government.
The departure of David Levy and his faction would leave Benjamin Netanyahu with a mere 2-seat majority in Israel's parliament, but he is confident he will survive.
I don't think there will be early elections. I think the coalition will hold.
Levy's resignation also deals a blow to the peace process. He has been the current government's staunchest advocate of returning land to the Palestinians, a policy that has left him at odds with hardliners in Netanyahu's government. Even with David Levy as foreign minister, the peace process had slowed almost to a standstill. Netanyahu has been under increased pressure from the U.S. to come up with a plan for significant withdrawal from the West Bank. But when he travels to Washington later this month to meet with President Clinton, the likelihood he will be able to satisfy that demand is more remote than ever. Clay Scott, ABC News, Jerusalem.
When we come back, is this man getting away with murder?
12,000 people in my hometown, and I represent all of them. No time to get slowed down by irregularity. My doctor says exercise, eat more fiber, but sometimes a meal is whatever you get served. So my doctor suggested Metamucil. It's not a chemically altered fiber, not an artificial stimulant. The only leading brand with 100% natural fiber is Metamucil. Keeps me regular, gently. Changed my life. Now I can get out there and change the world.
Metamucil, the doctor's natural choice for regularity.
Where are we? What's out there? What will happen? On a night like this, the mind can't help but ask. Well, now there's someone to answer.
Mr. Haley, I see you're 2 miles south of Reading. You want to take the next right for a service station.
OnStar, always there to help.
I use a shampoo every day, but my scalp still itches like crazy.
You need Scalpicin. It's made especially for deep scalp itch, the itch you can't wash away. Scalpicin is not a shampoo. It's a clear liquid you don't wash out like shampoo. Use Scalpicin anytime for deep scalp itch relief, with medication not found in the leading shampoos. Scalpicin gets to the root of the itch, starts working instantly.
The itch is gone.
Scalpicin, the scalp medication for deep scalp itch.
Dilbert for Office Depot.
Just as I thought, my cubicle is 2 inches smaller today than yesterday.
We installed real-time status adjusters. Sensors monitor your work and adjust the cubicle size according to your value.
It's amazing how fast you get used to it.
Here's a business idea that actually makes sense. Free delivery from Office Depot on any order over $50. Everything you need delivered right to your door. Office Depot delivers. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
Texas is known as a state that's tough on crime, but for one accused killer, Texas has become a refuge. He's accused of participating in an horrific massacre. But because that massacre was committed on the other side of the world in Rwanda, he may never go to trial. ABC's Bob Woodruff reports.
His name is Elizaphan Ntakirutimana, a Christian Hutu pastor. He is accused of genocide, taking part in a 1994 massacre in his church in Rwanda. According to his accusers, he lured Tutsis into his church where they were slaughtered.
2 people even told us, both Hutu and Tutsi, that he read the list of key Tutsi who were supposed to be killed first in the course of the slaughter.
The killings were part of a month-long bloodbath that swept the country in 1994. When the killing stopped, more than 500,000 people were dead. The pastor would not speak to us about his role in the massacre, leaving that instead to his son.
More than 70% or more of the people in Rwanda know my father didn't do any of those things.
Former U.S. Attorney General Ramsey Clark is the pastor's lawyer. Clark left the Johnson administration in 1968 and has built a reputation for fighting the U.S. government. In 1972, he went to Hanoi to investigate U.S. war atrocities. And when the U.S. bombed Iraq in 1991, he checked on the damage himself. He is also currently representing suspected Serbian war criminal Radovan Karadzic, who is being sued in the U.S. He firmly believes Ntakirutimana is innocent.
Genocide and violations of crimes against humanity are serious charges. There's no factual basis for them is the problem.
But others disagree. In 1996, after the United Nations asked the U.S. to turn the pastor over for trial in Africa, he was arrested by the FBI. But last month, a federal magistrate let him go because he said there is no treaty that permits his extradition. Human rights groups are outraged, and so is the U.S. government. But so far, they have not appealed the magistrate's decision. In the meantime, a suspected war criminal is living free in Texas, with his family by his side. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Washington.
Millions of children return to school tomorrow following the holiday break. But one group of students in Arizona never went home. The one-of-a-kind school is drawing national attention because of its stringent standards. It was started by the same tough-as-nails sheriff who brought the chain gang back to Arizona. ABC's Jim Williams has the story.
A chain gang begins at dawn in the Arizona desert, clearing tumbleweed, hauling boulders.
You guys have got your rakes, shovels. Start clearing 2 feet on each side of this trail.
Yet the hardest work is still hours away.
Native Americans, where do they come from?
This is where these teenage prisoners are really pushed. A classroom in the Maricopa County Jail in Phoenix. It's America's first full-time high school in a jail. Already famous and controversial for bringing back chain gangs to Arizona, this school's hall monitor is called the country's toughest sheriff.
You can't force them to study, but if they don't, they can spend 23 hours out of the day in that cell block.
17-year-old Arnold Machado's one-year sentence for selling drugs is pushing him to crack the books for the first time.
I just used to goof around sometimes, like ditch and do dumb stuff. And here I can't do that, so I get more of an education.
Some 30 of the jail's 250 teenage inmates attend the high school. They study the basics, English, math, and history, earning credits toward a diploma.
The sheriff wants to expand the high school for an additional 100 inmate students, but to do that, more teachers have to be hired, and perhaps the jail's biggest challenge is getting teachers to come here.
We are talking about countries that are in this area.
Many teachers fear they'll find a blackboard jungle here, even if guards are stationed just outside the classroom. But Dita Thompson came here. She believes even convicted felons deserve an education.
They get 25 years and they're 15 years old. They're getting out at a very young age. And I would rather prepare them to get out and make them a better person while they're here.
Thompson's payoff is that some of her students, like convicted armed robber Jesse James Jones, are trying to change the habits that landed them here.
It feels weird, because I do all my homework now on time and all that.
When class lets out, there's no football practice or drama club for these students. And in the solitude of a cell block, there's little to do besides homework. Jim Williams, ABC News, Phoenix.
When we come back, an American bestseller hits the road again.
After his heart attack, Ed's doctor told him to exercise and take aspirin regularly. So he takes genuine Bayer aspirin to help prevent a second heart attack. Ask your doctor. But then there are those days when Ed's muscles ache and Ed could use extra strength Bayer. Nothing is stronger for everyday pain. If you're on an aspirin regimen, you don't need Tylenol because doctors say you can take more aspirin for pain.
How are your legs?
Great. Race you home. Bayer, powerful pain relief and so much more.
When you trade online with DLJ Direct, you're awakening the resources of Donaldson, Lufkin, and Jenred, a Wall Street powerhouse. You have research on 80 different industries and access to DLJ's IPOs. The power of Wall Street is now in your power. Trade up. DLJ Direct.
Ready to do something about your hearing loss? My Beltone Visa, the hidden hearing aid, has something new, the Comfort Circuit.
Here's how it works. Our Comfort Circuit automatically adjusts to help keep loud sounds comfortable and to make soft sounds easier to hear.
I hear great, and it's still as small around as my contact lens.
Now, the Comfort Circuit in the Beltone Invisa is digitally programmable. It's like a tiny computer in your ear.
Visit Beltone today and save $100 on Invisa.
This week, how to be your personal best in 98. Conquer your fears. Improve your relationships. Get what you want. On Good Morning America this week.
In sports news, the coach of the Nebraska Cornhuskers today finally announced the day he'll retire, February 4th. Tom Osborne's announcement comes just one day after his Cornhuskers were named the #1 college team in a coaches poll. But an AP media poll named Michigan, yay, #1. The split has sparked a fierce debate among fans, alumni, and sports journalists everywhere. We talked to some of them.
As far as I was concerned, you have to pick one or the other, and I would have picked Michigan.
You can't have seen Nebraska's season and say that they didn't deserve, after 13-0, to the national championship every bit as much as Michigan did.
It's pretty much unfair for a team to go all that way and not be able to prove it on the field instead of in the polls.
Even though they're all complaining in Michigan and Nebraska, they'll be thankful for this years from now, because unlike in a playoff, both sides can now complain forever that they were number one. And if one team had to lose, one would be the loser. Now they can say forever that they're both the winner.
Good. Some sports journalists weighing in on how to pick the number one college football team. Finally tonight, start your engines. The 1998 Detroit Auto Show opens tomorrow, and today they're racing to get everything ready. One of this year's most highly anticipated new cars won't be unveiled until tomorrow. But you've probably heard of it since it's already been around the block a few times. Here's ABC's Jane Clayson.
It's been nearly 50 years since the Volkswagen Beetle first putt-putted into the American consciousness.
Because the Volkswagen doesn't go out of style overnight.
This little car, the people's car, revolutionized the way we drove. It was practical and cheap, functional, not stylish. Originally designed on Adolf Hitler's orders in the 1930s as an affordable family car, it appeared in the U.S. in 1949. Over the years, the Beetle became the love bug and a symbol of flower power. It's still a cultural icon today.
It's not plush or anything, it's loud, but it's just such a fun car to drive.
It's like a beach kind of car.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know what it is, it's just once it gets a hold of you, it's got you for life.
Volkswagen is counting on that Beetle mania when it unveils a new version of the car at auto shows tomorrow. We can't show you the actual model, but here's what the latest prototype looks like. It's a sleeker bug with airbags, automatic transmission, a blue-lit speedometer, and something no other car has, a 3-inch bud vase on the dash. It's been 20 years since the Beetle's been sold in the United States, and so Volkswagen is launching a high-priced, high-profile marketing campaign aimed primarily at baby boomers with nostalgic memories of the old model. And younger drivers born after the Beetle craze may be curious too, except for one thing, the price. When the first Beetles were sold, they cost about the equivalent of $5,400 today. The price of the 1998 model, between $16,000 and $20,000.
The price is going to be the key. If they keep that price down, all of us are going to be driving one or buying one for our kids.
The old Beetle continues to be the best-selling car in history. Over 20 million Beetles sold. The new model will be in showrooms this spring when Volkswagen hopes another generation will be bit by the new bug. Jane Clayson, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And that's World News Tonight for this Sunday. Tomorrow on Good Morning America, a preview of the Unabomber trial and a visit from legendary Miami Dolphins quarterback Bob Griese and his son, Rose Bowl MVP Brian Griese. I'm Carol Simpson. Have a good week and good night.
If you were watching World News Tonight with Peter Jennings last week, you saw an exclusive inside look at one of the world's most dangerous countries. You heard important new news about losing weight and living longer. And this week, more stories you shouldn't miss on World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on. They paid a